Welcome to another Vocal Labs training webinar. This training webinar we will be covering how you would do an initial fit on a Vocal Labs hearing product. This is the new Vocal Labs fitting software, the black icon that you see here. So we're going to open that one up. When the software opens, the first screen that you see is the patient selection screen where you can cycle through and find patients you've already put in. But since we're trying to do a new patient here, this is the button we will go click on, our new patient here. I'm just going to move this over so it's a little more visible. Here's where you can enter your patient's information. All that is required on this screen is a last name, but you can put in more information as you like, but it won't let you go anywhere if you do not at least have a last name put in. Down below, this is where we enter in the patient's audiogram information. Every time you go to begin, it's going to ask you if it's okay to create a new session. Say yes to that. When you press down on your left mouse button, it will drop the marking down on the audiogram for you, and you'll see that it's referenced in this box up here exactly what frequency and what decibel level you're on. Makes it a little easier than paying attention to the graph sometimes. Once you put these in, you can go up above and click again if you want to move them. If you want to remove them altogether, if you right-click with your mouse, by using the right-click button, it will actually remove the ones that you put down. So left-click lays them, right-click removes them. This is where you could go to the other side, do the same thing. For our purposes, we are only going to be simulating on the right side, so I'm not going to put one in. But you can also copy from one side to the other and then make some adjustments if that makes it quicker and easier for you. If you're doing a binaural fitting, you want to check the box here. One thing that's also very important is to put a UCL number in here, because that will be taken into consideration when doing an auto fit. It will adjust the compression ratios and thresholds accordingly to never allow the output to go above this number that you put in here. So that's very important. Frequency-specific UCLs, you can put them in for your own reference, but it does not take them into consideration when doing the auto fit. This number right here is what's important. At this point, if you know what Vocal Labs product you have fit on your patient and you have it hooked up to the software at this time, you can go up here and click on your fitting screen and go right into your fitting screen. And what's going to happen is the software is going to detect what product you have, and it's going to read it for you. I'm going to take us into the counseling screen because I do not have a product hooked up at this time. So I'm going to set up what product I want to simulate. But if you're not sure what product you want to fit on Vocal Labs, or if it's going to work for your patient, you can go to this counseling screen, and when you pick a product, you will see the fitting range over here on this side. So now obviously for this patient, a CIC does not look to be the recommended product. But you can cycle through other products and see what would work for this patient. Okay, what I'm trying to work with today is our RIC product. I'm going to use our 650 RIC product. Over here, I can see by the different receiver options the different fitting ranges compared to what receiver I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the high power receiver. I can bring up the data sheets on any of these products that I picked here by clicking this button. When I do that, it will open up the data sheet for me, and you can look at it. So I'm just doing this. If I was trying to simulate the other side, I would click to the left side and do the same thing. But for this, we're only going to work with the right side. At this point, I've set up what product I want to simulate. But keep in mind, if you know what product you're using, you don't ever even have to go into this screen. The software will read it for you. It's saying no programmer was detected. That's because I have no programmer hooked up to my computer at this time. And you'll see that I'm in simulation mode by this word right here. If I had a product detected and it was read correctly, that simulation would not be there. Okay, you'll see these fitting adaptation levels up here. Some people like to have specified steps to raise their patient up. This will not change automatically in the patient's ear. You actually have to make the changes. And every one of these steps, if you start on initial, what happens is when you pick the adaptation level, you'll see down here, this thick solid line is the target line. And the thin line that you see there is the actual response of the hearing aid. So when I change these, each of these steps is a 4 dB increase. So when I go to intermediate, that target line should jump up 4 dB across the board. And when you go to final, it'll jump another 4 dB. Every time you change that adaptation level, you have to auto-fit accordingly, okay? I'm just bringing that up. It's not anything that's necessary to do. Most people just leave it on final and do their fitting from that point from the first place. You don't ever have to use that if you don't want to. But if you like to have those steps, you can use that.